I'm a strong believer that if the world, the world's pretty crazy right now. There's a lot of fighting and division and people, hating each other for dumb reasons. But if everybody just took a step back and said, "Hey, I love kitties. Do you love kitties?" They all do. So that's
Mhm.
kitties. I think is something that that could bring the world better together. Closer together. Bring kitties might be the key to world peace, in my
Mhm.
opinion.
Today on the show, we are joined with the one and only Bubbles of the Trailer Park Boys. Bubbles and the gang got a brand new film out right now called Standing on the Shoulder of Kitties that's playing in theaters all over the world and beyond, getting an in-depth look at Bubbles' journey in that film. We have a wonderful talk that is both deep and introspective and also completely fucking unhinged. So excited to share this with you today. Let's get into it. It was nuts seeing you like a bird's eye view of this journey. And I think a lot of people are going to read the synopsis of the movie and think it's this big rock and roll story. But actually, what I got out of it was this journey of a man dealing with internal anxieties and everything. And I know right now around the movie, you got a crazy schedule. You were just in New York, Toronto premiere, and just personally, how are you doing still on this ride of like attention and madness and energy?
Oh, it's pretty crazy. You're absolutely right. We've just been zooming around all over the place. And then after New York, I actually got taken over to Madrid, Spain for 2 days to see Paul McCartney. So that was pretty amazing.
Holy
So yeah,
shit.
it's been a whirlwind.
Oh my God. And speaking of Paul McCartney too, like in the film you kind of created the studio space before your adventure called Abbey Road. And then, not to spoil the film, but there's a connection later on. And I just kind of want to know, Bubbles, like, do you believe in the power of manifestation, like after having moments like that in your life?
Well, yeah, I mean, when I started Abbey Road Studios, obviously I named it after Abbey Road, and I just because I thought it was cute and stuff. But then to actually end up at the real one just through a crazy turn of events, it was pretty. I never believed in that manifesting stuff, but who knows? Maybe it's real.
Yeah, there's like some like beyond the surface stuff I don't think we can ever understand. And
There
yeah,
could be. There could be. I think I'm starting to believe we live in like they say, we live in a simulation. I'm starting to think that might be real.
I totally believe that too, or maybe half believe it. I'm still trying to figure out all the details on that too. And
Yeah.
yeah, dude, like I can't even explain how excited I was to talk to you today. I actually took a hack from you from the movie and I wrapped a cat collar around my cock so I wouldn't piss myself
You got one on your wiener right now.
right now. And you know what? So far, so good.
You got to cinch her down good, though. You know?
Oh yeah, yeah. I might need to adjust that, but luckily we're on a Zoom call and I can, if you see me
Yes.
jiggling around and everything.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And I noticed too, like beyond I guess almost half my life I've been watching your life documented, and the majority of it has been in Sunnyvale Park. But every once in a while, every few years, we see you branch out. And one thing that's crazy is the drama never stops following you. And I just kind of want to know, like, why do you think that is? Like, these things follow you around, or maybe somebody from the park will show up when you're in fucking England or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually to do with Ricky and Julian. They usually, I like to try to just live, calm and just, keep it, basic. But then Ricky and Julian always end up dragging me into some kind of bullshit. In this case, it was Randy. Randy caused a lot of the craziness and tension, just because he's not very smart. But I thought, I'll bring him over as my roadie, and then he ended up, fucking things up
Hmm.
pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. He tends to do that a lot, but every once in a while I see something in his character where it's almost like it seems like he's fucking things up and it's not intentional. And then when he tries to fix things, he means good, Like he tried to suck and fuck you out of like a really bad situation, Like That's a good friend to me.
Yes, I mean, not me personally. He tried to go out into the world and
Hmm.
suck and fuck us a couple of plane tickets, to get me out of it. Randy's, as much as Ricky and Julian hate him, and, he's been an arsehole to us, over the years when he was with Mr. Leahy. I mean, Randy's he's not a bad fella. He's not mean spirited or anything, you know what I mean? So, and I mean, he's from the park, so you got to treat him like family, even though he's, not very smart and he fucks things up constantly. He's still really part of our family, and you got to kind of try to include him, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah, and like all families, families have quarrels and everything too. And
Yes, and every family's got some fucking ding dong that, fucks everything up. So that's kind of Randy.
yeah, most definitely. And one thing that was cool to kind of see you on the tour, a lot of like your country tunes were about kitties and just things you love and everything. And I did notice when you liquor and whores was brought up by the people, you seem to be sick of playing it. And I've seen this from other major musicians where they have that big hit or the Metallica, the Inner Sandman or whatever. And it's almost like they're tired of playing this. And like, is that what you're kind of going through with liquor and whores and everything?
Well, yeah, everybody, you don't want to just get, you know, pigeonholed, as they say, into that one thing. I had lots of other songs about kitties and like you said, a lot of songs I didn't notice until I sort of finished the record and looked at it. Most of the songs are about kitties or drinking.
Hmm.
So, I thought I had some, some pretty cool songs on there, especially the one, I did at Abbey Road and Ronnie Wood singing on it. I'd like people to see that rather than just, one song I did 20 years ago or whatever it's been.
Yeah, most definitely. And last year I actually had Kim Mitchell on the show, and I brought you guys up. I brought up the episode uh, where I think it was Ricky. He quoted, "Well, you rock a piss, I'm gonna rock some Mitchell or whatever."
Yes.
And he was honored to be part of the show, but also connecting to what we're just talking about too. I asked him if he was sick of singing the patio lanterns, sick of
Oh,
singing
yeah.
"Go for the Soda." And he had a different perspective that maybe you can kind of take in too. And he basically said, even though he's kind of just so in tune to those songs, when he goes out there and sees how happy it makes people feel, and
Yeah.
also think of the bigger picture of how those tunes brought him this lifestyle that he lives right now, it's kind of just eases his own ego of being sick of that song. And I don't know if you can like maybe like this isn't really a question, maybe like take a little tidbit from that with liquor of in horse.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's been people have, supported me over the years, and our fans are just, unbelievable. And I never forget or don't appreciate how awesome they've been, and all the free cat food I've got over the years just from,
Hmm.
from the show continuing, and that's because of the fans. So I always appreciate the fans. It was just hoping that, hey, here's a couple of new songs.
Oh,
Try these.
definitely.
Maybe you like them, like Kitties Are So Nice, for
Hmm.
instance,
Yeah. Yeah,
because
most de
everybody loves kitties, and there's no real good song about a kitty that I know of, so I'm trying to do that.
Yeah, yeah, you're kind of just trying to like just put something out there that's maybe a hole missing in this world. And speaking
Yes.
of kitties, I want to show you a little quick pic. This is we're gonna do a little segment, Rate the Kitty. And this kitty, his name's Tofu, and he's not mine, but they call him my godson. And
Okay.
I want you to take a little look at the Tofu here.
Oh, look at him.
Yeah, he's a good one.
Gorgeous.
He's
Gorgeous.
a he's a
Gorgeous kitty.
Yeah, he's a cute little cross-eyed fuck. I think if we put some glasses on him, he might look a little bit like you too. He's a little cute.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could get him some corrective lenses possibly, but
Hmm.
kitties, I've had kitties like him over the years, and they get along just fine. They know how to adapt and how to deal with things. That's why I love kitties. They don't judge anybody. They don't, they just do their thing, and they just unconditional love is what they hand out, you
Yeah,
know.
it's amazing. And that's gotta be like almost so easy for you to write a song back to them, almost like they deserve it. And I know Tofu's a fan of you, so he's going to be happy to kind of hear that you're kind of
Well,
digging
I
him.
mean, I'm a strong believer that if the world, the world's pretty crazy right now. There's a lot of fighting and division and people, hating each other for dumb reasons. But if everybody just took a step back and said, "Hey, I love kitties. Do you love kitties?" They all do. So that's
Hmm.
kitties, I think, is something that, that could bring the world better together, closer together. Bring kitties might be the key to world peace, in my
Hmm.
opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
If everybody just said, "Hey, let's just forget about, the political stuff and all the crazy, differences we have. Let's just talk about kitties for a few hours." There,
Hmm.
everybody's like, just having drinks and talking about kitties. Everybody has more things in common than they do, things to fight about. And I think kitties is the key to it.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing too. And yeah, not to get too political, but maybe with that mentality, you might be somebody who we can have in Canada run for office, and kind of
Well, I
this
would never
ease.
do that, but I would certainly, help any way I could. I would help somebody, that wanted to, get better rights for kitties or more exposure for kitties.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. And yeah, it's cool to that you have this perspective too. Even I wrote something down a little bit about perspective because again, you're you guys always seem to be in like these quarrels and everything. And I just kind of want to know like what always brings you back to Sunnyvale, like when you leave it, because now you've been on world tours and everything, movie premieres, and what kind of just brings you back and makes it feel like home to you?
Well, just, exactly that. It's just that's home, and that's where, the most important thing is, having a home and having family and people that, I mean, even though Ricky and Julian get into a lot of shit, and they go to jail a lot, it's usually never, they're not doing mean stuff. It's just because, they have big hearts and they're my family and that's where I belong. In Sunnyvale, sometimes, you end up going off and doing stuff, but, realizing that, you have family and that's where you're meant to be, that's kind of what it's all about.
Most definitely. And with these segments, a lot of different creatives, like filmmakers, musicians themselves, tend to listen to these, and I get some message from. So I always like to pay a little like advice forward with my guests. And we've seen you go from a legit trailer park all the way to Abbey Road. And if somebody's listening who's an aspiring musician, seeing your journey and everything and wanting to do that, what would you give advice to or for maybe the first step of like following their dreams?
Well, I mean, just, to keep at it, to keep doing, and I mean, I'll reiterate a piece of advice that Billy Bob Thornton gave to me at Abbey Road. He said, "When you sing from the heart, good things happen." And look what happened. I got up there. Ricky forced me to, but I got up and I sang, and I really did, sing it from the heart. And next thing I know, Ronnie Wood's standing there with a guitar going, "Hey, you know what I would do?" And he helps me finish the song, writes a bridge right there. I mean, that's my advice. Just don't worry about what anybody else thinks. Just do what you want to do. Do it from the fucking heart, and good things will happen.
Yeah, powerful stuff, Bubs. And I'm gonna let you go. This cat collar's getting a little tight. I think I need to like
Well, you
fucking
can't leave
loosen
it
it up
on
a
too
bit.
long. No,
Yeah,
you
I'm
gotta
starting.
take the pressure off that thing.
Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna have to cut this short. From the bottom of my heart and everybody who watches Trailer Parks, I just want to say we love you so much, Bubbles, and I hope I can talk to you again sometime in the future.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again, Bubbles, for spending time with me. That meant so much. I know he's been a busy boy, and luckily they snuck a chat in with me at the end of this media run for Standing on the Shoulders of Kitties. which is playing in theaters all over the world. Check your local listings. And if you enjoyed any of the context of this interview, I promise you'll have a good time watching this film. And speaking of people who love to have a good time, we can't run away without thanking all you legends on the Patreon page, keeping the lights on. First up, the biggest thanks to the one, the only, the homie, Mike Carniello of the Testing with Mike YouTube channel. If you're into electronics, technology, how they work, and most importantly, how to fix them, check out Testing with Mike on YouTube. Another huge thanks to the lovely Amanda McKnight. Amanda McKnight also has her own YouTube channel and community that you definitely need to check out if you want to soak in some good vibes, some comic books, video games, movies, and all things nerdy. That's Amanda McKnight on YouTube. Another big thanks to the wonderful Jenny Potter, the legend Devin McBride, back-to-back double impact Allens, the number one gent Alan Kent, in bigwig Alan Briggs, and the biggest thanks to the queen Ola Mazuka of Sonic Fold, and our friend Josh Davis, aka Jay Dizzle, and last but not least, Francis Coffer, aka my mom. If you want to support the show and get all these episodes early, raw, uncut, right when I'm done the Zoom call, I just post them. You can go to patreon.com/thecreative imbalance. And beyond having my forever thanks, you can just go to bed at night and sleep soundly, knowing you're a badass motherfucker who supports raw, uncut, independent media. And nobody can take that away from you. You hear me? With that being said, this is the last one of the year, but we got amazing content coming around the corner, even a sponsorship for January and February, and we're going to try to keep the momentum rolling. I hope you guys also keep the momentum or start the momentum of doing whatever you love in life. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll catch you next time. Mwah.